What's up, everybody? YouTube, this is me, Stones264. I'm actually going to give you guys a deck profile of my Magic deck. This is Birthing Pod. I started playing Magic around middle school, and quickly I jumped out of it. The cards just didn't really appeal to me much. This isn't a diss video, by the way. After that, a little bit after high school, met up with some people, and they tried to get me back into playing Magic, and I understood it so well because I was, I guess, a pro at Yugioh. I don't know what you want to call it, and it just came easy to me. But the only deck that really attracted me at the time was green-black, and after that, many years later, I'm here chilling at my locals, and my friends are just like, oh, we're going to get you back into playing Magic. We're going to get you back into playing Magic. No Magic deck really appeared to me but green and black. I don't know why, but I met this cool guy named Adam, and he sold me his pod deck. I had to go back and read everything about the deck, and it just clicked to me. And right away, I just kept thinking level eater and gadgets. I don't know why, but it just roll with it. Anyway, so I'm here to tell you about my pod deck. It's not an undying pod deck. Votava, what would be the best way to describe this deck?
Okay, so Birthing Pod?
No, like the name. Like, what would you call it? Like,
it's 4-color pod.
Okay, there we go. 4-color pod.
4 colors. Four colors. There's 5 colors in the game. He's running 4. What the heck?
Pro. Anyway, Votava could probably take it over from here. I only know how to play the deck. I could try to explain it, but if I try to explain it, all you're going to hear is Yu-Gi-Oh term. And I don't want to do that for this video, so I'm going to let him take over, and he's going to explain. Votava, all you.
So Birthing Pod, this card right here. This is the staple card of the deck. Okay.
Level eater. See, I told you.
It's a 4-cost artifact, but you can pay 2 life and 3 of any color. So that's, he's already 4 colors, so he can use any one of that mana to cast this card. What it does is you pay 1 and 2 life or green, tap it and sacrifice a creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost +1 of the creature you sacrifice.
So basically, if you sacrifice 1, it goes up to 2. If it's 2, it's 3.
So on and so forth.
Yeah.
So this
level eater.
In Magic terms, we call this a toolbox deck. So starting up top, we start with our level 1 step with Birds of Paradise, aka Bop. Just simple mana dorks. But these guys, you really don't pod them away. You use them more for mana ramp so that you can cast your bigger things, so that you can then pod those away to get even your bigger things.
So you can drop the nuts. Yeah,
you just drop the nuts of that guy. Okay, so we go into level 2. You have Viridian Emissary.
Let me explain him. Okay, I want to explain him. Basically, he's a level 2. When he dies, for any reason, pot away, defending, and he dies, it doesn't matter. You go get mana and add it to your pool. This guy won me so many games today because basically I would just put him out and play. If I didn't pot him away, I would force them to attack into him. I never swing with him. I always let my opponent attack him, and then I go get more mana. He's a good blocker, and it's like a +1. Gadgets, just saying.
Okay. For the Magic players that are watching this, or people wanting to get into a card game that are watching this that love Magic, this is what I like to call a rampant growth on a stick. It does the same effect as rampant growth for the same amount of mana, but he's a 2-1 beater. Usually you try to attack with him, or like Mr. Stunts here likes to do, is just sit back and let him block. So more mana. So the first couple steps is mana. This guy, this is Protect. Okay, Phantasmal Image.
Bro.
Phantasmal Image is a 2 cost. When he comes to the play, he copies...
My idea. I'm sorry. I came up with that. I said I want to run this card.
Okay. He comes into play. He copies target creature on the battlefield. He's an illusion. It's what we like to call bubble. When he becomes the target of a spell or ability, he just goes poof. He gets sacrificed. But I will explain why this guy is so pro and he's so techy in this deck.
I want to explain why we need this card in Yu-Gi-Oh that does the exact same thing after you get done.
Okay. The 5th level 2 or 2-step is Perilous Mirror. This guy comes into play with the Viridian Emissary, where Pod bases all of its creatures on enter the battlefield effects or go to the graveyard effects. Perilous Mirror is a perfect example. When it goes to the graveyard, you shock your opponent for 2 or shock a creature for 2. So it does a lot of cool stuff. We go from level 2 to level 3 to the third step. Legendary creature, Glissa the Trader. She is a bananas. 3/3, first strike. That means she deals her combat damage first, and she does death touch damage. What?
Death touch is basically auto kill.
Auto kill.
No
She has 1 point of damage to any creature.
No matter how strong.
Doesn't matter how strong that motherfucker is.
Die.
Die.
But they won't swing.
Bet you won't swing.
Dinner.
Decoy dragon. She says whenever a creature an opponent controls goes to the graveyard, you can return artifact from your graveyard to your hand, and you run on this deck runs a lot of artifacts, so she's really good. So the other one is Sylvok Replica. He also has an ability where you sacrifice him and you can destroy target artifact or enchantment. So like if you're going up against another pod deck, you can destroy their pod, or you can destroy their artifact that's really just hurting you really bad.
Pro.
So, and you get them back with Glissa when the creature dies from it. Going into stage 4, we have Phyrexian Metamorph. He's like the Phantasmal Image without the pop ability. Plus, he counts as an artifact. He can become a copy of an artifact, like you can make him a copy of a Birthing Pod. Or Sylvok Replica, or Viridian Emissary, or any one of your bigger dives. Legendary rule, that his deck runs a few legendary creatures. Do not copy your legendary guy.
Alright, for those that play Magic, this rule goes to every last one of you. I'm talking to the Magic crowd at the moment. Fuck y'all. That is mean what y'all did to me. As a Magic player who tried to shark me on this card when I first started playing the game again, I almost copied a legendary creature. And the rule is, if you copy a legendary creature, it auto kills. I didn't know that. I didn't try to copy Glissa. It was worse. We'll get to that later.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the copy card.
That's bullshit. Now, Yugi crowd, don't ever copy a legendary creature. It will die
unless you're copying a legendary creature on your opponent's side.
That's different. Go for it.
Do it. The next guy, this guy is super pro. He's got an enter the battlefield effect and a go to the graveyard effect. He is Solemn Simulacrum, aka Sad freaking Robot.
Basically, what he does is when you bring him into play, you get to add a basic land or mana from your deck and put it in play tapped. It's good, and when he dies, you get to draw cards. So it's a plus.
And he's to stage 4, so he goes from, you play him, you get a land, so you ramp, you get more mana to cast your spells, and then if you have pod in play, you go to 5, and you just skip these first 3 steps.
Normally, when you go to like 4 with Solemn, with the pod play, by then you're winning. It doesn't matter. There's not been one game I haven't played this fucker I have not won.
Now, like I said, this deck is very toolboxy, so we've got Entomber Exarch. He's got a choice mode. When you put him into play, you got to choose your mode. One mode is you can return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand, or you can look at target player's hand and choose a non-creature card from it and force them to discard it.
I'm normally always going after the first effect, unless I can't do it. Then I always do the second.
Or if you just don't have any creatures in the yard at the time that you really want back.
That's the only time.
Also, we have Skinrender.
Death.
He just comes into play and
he kills something. It doesn't matter.
Also, this guy this card usually is usually a sideboard card, but for his deck it's really pro because he comes up against a control deck and they cannot handle him. Thrun the Last Troll. They call him the Last Troll because he trolls the control deck. This guy cannot be countered.
Nope.
He cannot be targeted by your opponent's spells or abilities.
Nope.
Plus, he's got a regeneration effect.
He will come back.
He cannot die. And he costs 4 mana for a 4/4.
That's good. For Yu-Gi-Oh guy, that is good. That is like a no sacrifice Blue Eyes White Dragon that can automatically come back as a Tengu. Okay, we're good.
So we go from 4 to 5. Stage 5, we have one of the staple cards to this deck list. Their deck archetype, I should say, Acidic Slime. It's a 5-cost 2/2 Not many people would play this because he's so expensive, but in this deck he's fantastic.
Exactly.
Because his end of the battlefield effect says, I destroy an artifact or an enchantment
Like,
or a land.
He's almost as good as Glissa. The only difference is between him and Glissa is Glissa does first strike. He doesn't have the first strike ability, but he still has Dust Touch. So when he comes out, he blows up artifacts or mana, and he's just like, I bet you won't swing. I will fuck you up. I bet you won't swing. A lot of people don't normally swing.
Okay, so more toolboxy. We've got Morarth Banshee. New effect to magic is Morbid.
Yay.
Whenever a creature died this turn, when Morarth Banshee comes into play, target creature gets -4 until end of turn. So that means anything with toughness 4 or less will instantly die.
Dead.
To her. So she's really good as a 5-drop, and she's also a 4/4, so she's bananas.
So normally the combo with her is you go normally Solemn Sad Robot, get Sad Robot, pot his ass away, go get Morbid, Morbid pops out and just like blows up something.
Yeah, so it's like I said, toolboxy. You just do JP shit against your opponent. Another card that Mr. Stunts likes a lot, I think he's really good, Bloodgift Demon.
I need at least
this guy.
I need at least one powerhouse flyer.
Okay. Well,
I like
he's not the best flyer in the game, but he
like
is bananas because he gets you card advantage. And in Yu-Gi-Oh, like taking mass damage is very hurtful. In our game, like you can sacrifice a point or two of life. He says at the beginning of your upkeep, so before you get to cast anything, before you draw, you get to take top card of your library, put it in your hand, and lose 1 life.
Basically.
Okay, and then you get to draw another card.
Or you could do what I like to do when I'm already winning by like a lot, and I need to just kill my opponent and make them take the 1 point of damage, and then I send his ass flying. So they take 6, because if they don't have a flyer, they can't stop it.
Okay, so
I'll get that from you.
So 1 through 5, that's your steps. That's the toolboxy.
All right, now let's go a little
higher.
higher.
Now we go into 6. 6 is where it gets bananas. Okay, first, we've got the Titans.
Yes, I play Titans. Yay.
Okay, Sun Titan. He's a 6/6 Vigilance, which means when he attacks, he doesn't tap like you would tap him to attack. He just goes attack. So he can block on the next turn.
I just learned that. I've been tapping his ass all day. Damn, everybody. They cheat me. Now keep going.
Whenever Titans have enter the battlefield effect and an attack effect. Both of those effects are the same for whichever one they're doing.
And they're bananas.
For Sun Titan, he says when he attacks or comes into play, return a target permanent, not just creature, permanent, with converted mana cost 3 or less. So stages 1, 2, and 3
will just come into play.
Will come back into play if they're in the yard or even your land.
And wait, I can pick land too?
Mm-hmm. Their lands are considered permanent.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So if they blow up a land on you, you can bring it right back. Pro shit. Frost Titan.
This motherfucker is ill.
His enter the battle. He's got a lot of wording on him. He's like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. He's got a lot of words.
Yeah.
His enter the battlefield effect and attack effect says tap target permanent. It does not untap during that controller's next on tap step, which means they cannot use that permanent during their next turn, which is really freaking good, especially when you keep one of their big guys tapped down and they can't attack with it. Or you keep a specific color mana that they use tapped down so that they can't use it. Also, his other effect says if you were to ever be targeted by a spell or an ability, the controller of that spell or ability has to pay 2 more on top of the original ability.
So basically it's forcing them to play more.
Yeah.
So
if they don't pay the 2,
it doesn't work.
It doesn't work, it gets countered. Now,
that's why he's so good.
I play heavy competitively, and I am a tournament organizer and a rules advisor. Now, if you guys want a ruling on this card, if you play this card, you must ask your opponent, would they like to pay the 2 colorless or it gets countered. You have to ask. If you don't ask, you can get disqualified from the round.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
If I play him, I have to ask?
Major play.
Okay.
I'm not talking like at your local stores or friendly matches or whatever.
Okay.
You know,
I'll start doing that.
That crap will fly, but if you're playing in a major tournament like at a 5K or a Star City Open, you must ask your opponent if they would like to pay the 2 before the ability or spell gets countered.
Alright, cool. Alright, next.
last but not least, Grave Titan.
Grave Titan. Look at the artwork on that shit, dude.
Okay.
There's people in there.
Look at stunts. He's got stunted out promo cards.
All
promo foil cards. These guys are bananas. Awesome. They're expensive. He went balls deep on this deck.
I don't care.
So, Grave Titan, same style. When he comes into play, he makes 2 tokens. There are 2/2s. These guys. He makes 2 of these every time he enters the battlefield and attacks.
He's just there for swarming.
He swarms the field. And by the way, guys, to play Yu-Gi-Oh that don't know anything about Magic, you're not limited to 5 creatures in your
You can have as many creatures as you can make them.
I
love this game.
He also has Death Touch like Glissa and the Acidic Slime, so if anything gets dealt, if he deals damage to anything,
they won't swing. They know.
Okay, so 2 more cards in the
these are the
6
these are the most proest ones.
Okay, Massacre Worm. This is another card that it enters the battlefield and creatures get negative numbers to them. So let's
as
go
an
back.
example, these guys.
So you pot away.
Most of the creatures in the game normally start off with like 1 or 2, sometimes 3 of attack and toughness. So basically, if he comes into play, everything gets -2, -2. So anything that is below -2 and it hits like 0 goes, it dies
Instantly. Indestructible gets around it.
So I want to take this for example. Say that all of, Glissa is a... okay, fuck Glissa. Alright, say that all of these guys were on my opponent's side of the field. Let's say I was playing Votava. He had all these creatures in his play. I summon this bitch, they all die. And not only that, you only have 20 life in this game, but he takes 2 points of damage for each one I killed.
Because of this card.
Bananas.
Okay, the top effect says the -2, -2. That's until in the turn. That second effect. That's permanent. That's a static ability.
It will
is
always
constantly going on as long as this guy's in play. So
I copy his ass.
Let's go back to stage 4 right quick so I can show some super tech.
Okay.
So let's say you have 2 birthing pods in play, and you cast Skin Render. You give a creature -3, -3.
Yep.
Counters.
Did it.
That guy's not quite dead yet.
He will be.
So you pot away this guy.
Skin Render 4.
Pot away Skin Render into a Morok Banshee.
Oh, he dead now.
Okay, you crack something else. Now that brings all of your opponent's field down to toughness 2 or less. So then you take the other pod and you pod this guy away.
For him.
And Master Orb just goes lunch.
Everything. Dinner. Oh, he's so pro.
So his little setup here is 4, 5, and 6. He can wipe the field.
Basically, if you guys haven't cut the concept yet, as you can tell, I'm just like stacking on. Like once my mana starts going, which it doesn't take long. It really takes like 1 or 2 turns. I just go ape shit. If you can't stop it, it's a wrap.
Okay, his last, but most certainly not least, Protect Wurmcoil Engine.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another promo card that he got.
And a good Protect.
This guy's a 6 cost, 6/6, which pays for itself.
Which has Death Touch and Lifelink. Okay,
and
let me explain the Lifelink. You guys already know what Death Touch can do. Lifelink is basically any damage that I deal with this card, I gain back in life. I'm like, really? So I get back life? Oh, hey. It's not over.
Oh, Wurmcoil's not done.
No, he's not done.
Oh, you kill this guy or I pot him away?
We can pot him. I get 2 tokens.
I get 2 guys?
They split. The worm splits into 2 parts. One that has Death Touch and another token that has Lifelink. And they both are 3/3. That's pretty good for fucking tokens.
He just goes half, makes 2 guys, and splits the Death Touch and Lifelink effects.
The babies.
So, here are the roasting pots, and we're going to go into the meat.
If I get this,
of the deck.
If I get this, which doesn't take long, Sheldred and Elish Nor. 2 of the most proest fucking cards in the game.
Okay, so, in the Magic universe, we had a set come out called New Phyrexia. That's where both of these cards came from, which released for every color, one for every color, there's 5 of them. We've got the Praetors.
I want the green one.
No, the green one sucks.
Okay, I don't want the green one.
Sheldred and Elish Norn. Okay? These guys are probably the top, out of the top 3 Praetors of all 5, the best. The other one is the red one, and it's Urbrask. He's the Mana cost wise, he's the cheapest because he costs 5, 2 red and 3, and he's just bananas. But let's talk about Shieldred.
Ooh.
Shieldred is a 7 cost Swamp Walk, which means that if the defending player controls a swamp, which we'll see here, she can attack and cannot be blocked.
Yep.
Okay? Her effect. Stunts.
Ooh, the effect. Thank you. First effect, basically, at the beginning of my opponent's upkeep. Oh, sorry. The first effect is basically at the beginning of my upkeep. I get to return a creature from my graveyard to the battlefield automatically. Any. Normally, I don't always get it off, but 9 times out of 10, I always have Elish Nor in the grave. And when she's in the grave, she's just automatically just walking her ass to the battlefield, be like, who the fuck said that? I'm going to get you. That's boss. Okay, the second effect, however, is even more pro, because after you've done your setup, because if you manage to get past 6 and you've already wiped out everything, you already won. Because when you bring him out, they won't summon a monster big enough to get over you. And if they do summon a monster big enough, at the end of your turn, at the beginning of their upset, they have to sacrifice a creature. No matter the creature, they have to sacrifice one creature. If they don't have a creature, they don't have to sacrifice. But it's just control, basically.
Mm-hmm. Elish Norn.
Oh my god, I almost dropped the camera on this bitch.
This bitch is pro.
I will get her super. Basically, she has Vigilance, and all other creatures
like the Sun Titans.
Yeah, all other creatures I control basically gain +2/+2, so it boosts everything. Everything.
Each side of the field, except for Elish Norn.
Except for
Elish Norn.
She doesn't
really get
she
better.
doesn't
She's
even.
a 4/7.
She doesn't need to be boosted. But it makes all my opponent's creature get -2/-2. So, like what the other creatures do.
Magical Worm, Morhawk Banshee, Skinrender.
She does it too. The moment she summons, the whole fucking field is cleared because they've done all the work to set up for her. All right, and that's pretty much the deck.
That's the creatures. Now, what really makes a Magic deck tick are the lands.
Yeah.
He's running, like I said, 4 colors. So let's start with the basic lands first.
All right.
He's doing green, white, black, and blue. No red.
Yeah.
No red.
So
I looked back at the deck. I looked at the deck that he bought from Adam. Stunts bought the deck. I went through it. I tweaked it a little bit. We kept on tweaking and tweaking, and we finally got a consistency down.
It works.
So we got 2 basic islands, 2 basic plains, 4 swamp, 4 forests. Now we've got the dual lands.
This counts as 2 as 1.
Yeah. The Drowned Cat can
Count
tap for a blue or a black. The Sun Petal can tap for green or white, and the Woodland Cemetery can tap for black or green.
Yeah.
And the reason why we don't run
right.
a whole list of dual lands is because of these guys up here.
Yeah.
The Emissary that fetches up land, and the Solemn that fetches up land.
And the birds.
Well, birds produce their own mana themselves.
And the birds.
Birds produce mana themselves. I'm talking these guys in particular, because the way that these guys read is that they search up basic land types.
Stratos.
And what happens is these dual lands here come into play untapped if you control
one of these.
Okay? So what he does is you play these guys.
Normally him.
Normally him first, him second, whatever.
It doesn't matter.
But you get one of these. Whichever one, like let's say you've got a Drowned Cat in hand, but you don't have any islands or swamps. You go like Viridian Emissary, kill him, get a swamp or an island into play, or cast Solemn and get a swamp and island into play, so that when you play this, it comes into play untapped. Playing your cards, playing your lands that come into play untapped makes this deck run so much smoother, so you're not setting yourself down in turns. So it's pretty pro.
Oh yeah, we said we were going to go back. We got a couple more minutes. We said we're going to go back real quick on the image. We never did tell the brokenness behind it, so we'll dive quick.
Like I said before, Phantasmal Image copies a creature on the field. Fully copies the creature. It essentially, like, let's say...
Yeah, just scoot it out the way.
Okay, let's say he's got one Coil Engine.
Mm-hmm.
I have Birthing Pod. Okay?
What the fuck? Why can't you have War Crow? I have Birthing Pod.
Okay. I have one Coil Engine. He's got Birthing Pod. He's at He's got 2 mana, or he's got a minimum of 4 mana here.
Yay.
Okay, so what he does is he's got to cast Phantasmal Image from his hand. Cast it.
I play it.
Tap.
Then I tap 2 more to turn this bitch.
Okay, before he does this.
I'm gonna do it.
You go and do it, I promise.
Okay.
Promise. Phantasmal Image comes into play as a copy of Wormcoil Engine. Completely.
Even the graveyard effect. That's the brokenness.
No. The more brokenness is that it copies the CMC of the card.
I know. It copies the level, and it copies the everything about it.
See this guy? He says he's 2?
He bumps up to a 6.
No, I'm a 6. I'm a 6. So now he's going to pod?
Yep. He goes away. I get a copy, and since I ditch him for a level 7, give me Elder Norn. Fuck that. Fuck
no,
that.
You're going to get Children, because I gotta sacrifice my guy.
Alright, fine. I get Children, but I also get 2 tokens that have Lifelink and Death Touch.
Okay. So this is where he would go bananas, because on my turn I'd have to sacrifice my tokens, or sacrifice my Wormcoil Engine, and my guys come into play and I can't attack. Then his turn, he would bring back his Wormcoil. He would bring back like a 6-drop that's in his yard. Like they say, he's actually got a Wormcoil in his yard with the Shieldred effect.
Yep.
Pot away the Wormcoil, gets 2 more tokens.
Ellis Norn. Winning. Well, this is my build. I'm used to criticism, but it really, really works. So for those of you that play Magic and you actually understand this, and I've made it simple for even the Yu-Gi-Oh to understand, comment, tell me what you guys think about it. If you guys want to, go ahead and play it. Tell me what you guys think, really. Comment, rate, subscribe. And remember, guys, peace, love, happiness. Later, guys.